What's up, everyone? Welcome to a Sunday morning of Wash Bonanza for me. I am working through getting cars cleaned up. I just washed the GT4, which you've seen me do here in the last week or so, so I figured I'd wash the M3. My favorite car to wash, about to become even more favorite because I'm putting the carbon ceramics on soon, but they're not on yet. And actually, this is the first time I've washed it. Yeah, first time since I've gotten it all set up with PPF. So you can see I'm breaking a rule. Rule number one, don't put wheels on without first lowering, but I just haven't got my suspension yet. So we're roughing it here with a car on stilts, mainly because I just wanted to, I was running out of room, and so I needed to get the wheels out of the, needed to get them out of the garage and over to, I rented a 5x10 storage unit, which was kind of dumb because now I just got a shed. I'll tell you that story in the moving vlog here soon, but I bought a shed because we don't have anywhere to put all the kids' crap. So anyway, back to the M3. So this is, headers are now done. We have to do brakes and suspension, short shifter, and then this puppy is set up, ready to just enjoy. The front lip was a big project. The headers obviously was a huge project that I very smartly designed it so that I didn't have to be there to watch the atrocities that happen. It's been a big life improvement. Having Mike here helps keep me sane. I don't have to see. We keep me at a 5 out of 10 and don't let me get up to that 11 plus range of angst and worry by just not showing me what's going on. So that's a big improvement to my life, and to hopefully to how nice I am. Somebody was making some comments about how so much, you know, like the stubby. I thought I was pretty nice on the stubby. I would have been way worse in the old days. I thought I was pretty charitable. I'm saying, hey, I get how you could be worrisome about this thing. But anyway, I still see those comments all the time. Where like this guy, there's just such a bigger level of arrogance. I'm like, have you been watching? You must be new, because I'm way nicer than I ever have been. Like 50% nicer. Let me spray some rust inhibitor on these. Gosh, I can't wait to get the carbon ceramics on this thing. Ooh, look at that beading. That's sheeting, beading, whatever. Real good. I'm hoping we can beat the sun here. I was contemplating, I kept hemming and hawing back and forth about skipping, having you guys on. That's the hope. Beat the sun so that way I can wash a bunch of cars. Anyway, I don't know where I was going with that. This car, these are, I screwed up. So these are diamond black. I should have gotten the platinum, no, not the platinum, not the diamond silver. I should have gotten the one in between. Yeah, it's called maybe platinum silver or something like that. That's the color I should have gotten. But these wheels, like as soon as I got them, as soon as I put them on here, it's just, I got it again, where you guys get me. The photos and the descriptions and how, you know, wild people are about these, and say like the Acura exhaust on this car is like the standard. It's a standard exhaust. And I'm like, you know, I just don't like how anything Acura sounds ever. largely due to the fact that they're just factory replicas, you know, largely. They're just taking the factory exhaust and just making it a little lighter, titanium and pretty looking, and the fitment's great. And all of that stuff is, you know, I totally get why people head down that path. But it, I don't know, it's one of those things where I avoid it because I just know it's not gonna be what I like, and then I get it, and then it's just exactly what I thought it was, and so I have these momentary points of weakness. And so the same thing with these FIRs. Yeah, I put these into the same Acra category where it's like the standard. These are like the standard wheels that you would get. Super light, super strong, terrible offsets. I have a 12mm spacer on this thing. But I let that go, said, you know, I'm just gonna deal with the crappy offset. We'll just handle that. I forgot to do this wheel well here. Oh shoot, almost took a header. And then I get them, and they're meh. It's the same thing with the TEs on this car. You just gotta stick with the tried and true, the 359, the competition wheels, I think are the best. So I'll have these for a little while and I'll sell them. The greatest part about my current existence is that, you know, I've got a mounting and balancing machine, so I can do all the work and put the things on and then not have to like send them off somewhere and hope they don't get messed up and have all the palm and hundos and all the work that you got to do. I don't have to do any of that, which is great. I'm just going to clean these up real quick. I'm not going to move the camera. So that is a, that's the good old disappointment of not trusting my gut. But now I can check it off. I'll roll them for a little while. They certainly will look better than they do right now, being on for cars on stilts. The other thing I really dislike is having the offset, having a wheel that has to have 265. A 265/30 to me just doesn't look good. You need a 255/35 or a 275/30. And I don't think a 275 fits on these wheels. The other problem is I don't like a 275. I did those on the TEs. On this car, it makes it steer funny, steer heavy. I'm making the video a little bit darker than I normally do, so hopefully it's not too dark. I don't do any color correcting. Actually, the guys will edit this video, so they'll exposure and color correct it in DaVinci. So it'll look good. I also don't like the look of a 4S in a 295 like this. It gets real round and bubbly looking. So again, I think we'll go back to the tried and trues. But now I know. And it won't cost me, the wheels are like $9,800 and the tires are another whatever the tire, $1,500. But it won't cost me that much because I'll sell them. And they're road force balanced and really taken care of, and it'd be nice to, just throw them on a pallet and ship them to somebody to buy them. So, I'll sell them for 10 grand or something and get, most of my money back. Somebody will get a sweet deal. TPMS is already there. I bought black TPMS, special black TPMS stems, which you otherwise wouldn't be able to get from a tire place, and so they'll be ready to go. I'm gonna reserve full judgment for when I finish it up and I get the suspension on and get the thing at the right height and put the brakes on as well. The brakes are gonna make these look way better too. You know, having the big old calipers and the carbon ceramics on here. So we'll reserve full judgment for that. But this car, the entire car has XPEL Ultimate PPF. It has, I decided against Fusion, so it has CSL EXO on it. So we'll see how that does, how that holds up. And I'll give you long-term feedback on that as we have more time with it. So yeah, I think this will look okay when we get the TTX on here. I did get the TTX for the E36. You sent me the wrong one. I needed the TTX for this car, but we'll get all the suspensions done really soon here. I know I've been saying it forever. I used the CarPro retire the other day, and not a good thing to use if you want to maintain your tire dressing. It totally strips everything off. So I've got 925 miles on the car now. I've driven it like 60 miles, something like that. These wheels are, I'm telling you, these wheels are like camera wheels. Photo wheels, video wheels. They look great on this in the lens right there, other than this 3-finger gap you got going on here. The one thing I would like to do on this car, I think, after I get it set up, is I think I'd like to do the diamond stroker on it. I think that would be really fun. But I think about this car a lot, you know. We'll talk about the Mountain House here today, I'm sure, but you know, I'm working on getting the OG Mountain House all set up here, or getting it acquired. My butt is puckering big time. I'm just scared to death that I'm doing this thing, buying this $2 million house to then outfit it with all the OG stuff, and then, you know, hoping that the house pays for itself and then some is the goal, by, you know, allowing people to go out and borrow it for money, using it also as a muse to, you know, to modify, to buy a really cool house, modify it, put all the cool stuff in, you know, build a garage and do all that stuff. And I hope it works. Otherwise I'm screwed. You get some people sticking little jabs to me like, yeah, you got this bad attitude, and here we are, you're buying mountain houses and getting all these cars, and I mean, this is what makes anybody even interested. It's got to happen. You've got to do stuff that's crazy. I mean, I'm going to do it anyway, but otherwise, why would you even watch? And this mountain house is not like, oh, Matt's getting super rich and I'm just getting this mountain house because I'm super rich. No, I've got an idea, I've got a concept, I've got a business model, I've got a plan for how I think it's going to work. And so I'm rolling the dice here that what I want is what other people want, and they want a cool place to go to that's outfitted with all kinds of cool stuff. And, you know, it doesn't have to be subscribed to by thousands of people. It only has to be subscribed to by 20 a year, you know, to cover the carrying cost of it, and then, you know, allow a place for me to go and create content and, you know, make videos and then try out different products and then show examples of what those products can do. But what I was getting at, all that rambling, is that I don't know that this car, like, I don't really even want this thing in the mountains. Like, to me, this car is like a car, you're gonna get all mad about this, but this car is the one I like to take to Publix for the grocery store and turn around and look at it when I walk back. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what this car is to me. Because if you've driven a GT3 in the mountains, or a GT4 in the mountains, or you've driven, you know, a better setup car, I have no interest in this one doing for that purpose. To me, this car is about rolling around, you know, winding it out to red line on a straight line, you know, on a straight road for, you know, once or twice. But who knows? I've never had my E92 in the mountains. I've never, you know, I've taken it to the track I've been on the track in an E92 4 or 5 times, 6 times, something like that. I don't know, it's just not, it doesn't inspire that for me. You know, this car doesn't do that for me. I know it does for many of you. I know many of you are gasping for air right now with anger. But go drive a GT3 in the mountains and then drive this. And be like, what the heck, this thing's terrible in comparison. So I certainly will take it up there, especially now that I'm gonna have, you know, a place. But I can't see myself choosing this over jumping in a GT4 and going. Oh, that's so fun. To have a car that's properly clean and dialed in. Oh man. And yes, this thing is not dirty, but I don't frickin' give a crap. You spent 120 grand and then another whatever 50 on it of your life savings on your dream car and not wash it when it's dusty. I don't care what anybody says. I'm frickin' washing this clean as much as I possibly humanly can. Why is this thing not? I have to adjust that a little bit. Yeah, I'm gonna wash this, keep this thing clean. All the darn time. Man, how come you're not washing dirty? Why don't you try washing a dirty car? Well, you don't think I could do it? Why would you do that? That's stupid. That's the whole point of it, is to have nice cars, to keep them detailed so you keep them clean. I'm not doing that. I'm not here for your entertainment. I'm here for your education. Let's just say that. Entertainment gets big views. Entertainment gets more bodies, more humans, but I don't want that. I want you bought in. I want you nodding your head. Or, you know, disagreeing. But at least understanding that I have some intelligent basis behind whatever it is I'm proposing. What's the word? Purporting? Is that a word? I didn't want to say that when I was trying to sound smart, and then have the word out of make up a word. I still really like this quick disconnector. Works well. The one for the top of the phone cannon. So here's the plan with the mountain house. I understand it's a lot of money. I also understand that we really needed a unique place, you know, and I got a little sidetracked and I started looking at places that weren't unique, that were like for me. And it still has to be, you know, the thesis of this thing is that it has to be my house. We're gonna let, you know, but I wanted it to be something that we could like transform. That we could do all the cool stuff that we do in one spot. And to do that, you know, I got sidetracked several times. The house in the Highlands was way cool for us. But it didn't have a great garage. The house on the lake that we tried to get, I really couldn't rent that thing out. It's gonna be a real problem. So I feel like this all needed to happen, like this whole process I went through. And then, you know, assuming we get this deal done, I had the inspection done yesterday. You know, the Helen houses that I bought is really complicated. You know, there's a lot to it. As far as, you know, just the structure and how much maintenance is going to require. And, you know, when I was doing this, when I was shopping that house the first time around, I didn't have Mike. You know, he wasn't here full time where we could go and fix this thing and really do the things. And I was on my own. I was going to be on my own, and that was going to be a bit too much, I think, for me to handle. And so now it's kind of come full circle. Or now I feel like we're ready for this, to do this and to add this level of project. You know, my whole vision from the, you know, for many years now has been, remember I've been talking about this in these Washington talks for years, that I think, you know, the goal was to provide an end-to-end solution. It started with detailing. I want to provide an end-to-end detailing solution where we can provide, you know, the entire process. So everything that I was using in a video, I would have the ability to provide, and then build a system. And then it turned into the garage. Now it's going to turn into an entire house, you know, and with the advent of, you know, Destination Obsessed Garage. And so I think that I think this is our next step in the evolution of creating end-to-end solutions. And I find those type of videos most interesting. And just like, you know, there's tons of home improvement stuff, but just like there was when I started making videos like doing detailing and washing cars, just like there wasn't anything like what I wanted to watch, so I made it. We're going to do the same thing. I don't want to see bullcrap, surface level nonsense that you see on HGTV. I want to see full-on detail. Like, what would I actually want to do myself? It's funny because one of the houses I went to was like a typical HGTV thing. Surface level was kind of neat, but in reality, it was just a bunch of fluff, a bunch of junk, not real. And I realized through this process of me moving a bunch, trying to figure out where we end up, I've got to fix to close this thing. It's just not latched. Is that I'm starving for that kind of information, that kind of content, those kind of videos. So I'm going to make them. And hopefully some people like them. But it's not a subtraction, it's an addition. I'm just going to be watching cars in different places. Can't wait to get to the mountains and washing cars there. So I also kind of got sidetracked, and we figured it out this weekend. Michelle helped me. One of the things I'm struggling with is that I've made a lot of investments. I bought this lot next door, and I was feeling flush. Now I'm feeling broke and scared, and this is not good for me. I need to stay never thinking about money. When I start thinking about money, I start getting, then I can't drive, and I start freaking out. It's just bad. And so I was feeling this pressure. I'm like, oh my gosh, I bought this house. It's costing a lot of money. And then I'm gonna have this huge payment, this huge nut to cover. And then we've hired a bunch of people in order to do the closets and do all the design and be able to support it. And we had to hire a bunch of people in the warehouse because we were selling too much stuff and not enough people to put it in boxes, and was running them into the ground. And so I've made all these investments in the last few months. And then I'm like, well, I need to get this house. If we get this house, we need to get it done. And Michelle's like, why don't, because I see the house and all I see is all the things I want to do to it. And all I see is yellow wood everywhere. And she's like, what if you were to, like, if this house just had a garage, like a really awesomely done garage, it would be awesome. Wouldn't you love to stay at it? I was like, yeah, that's true. But I need to de-yellow it. She's like, well, we have our entire lives to do that. I said, you know, that's darn good thinking. Because I was like, we need to get this completely done. And we could do it, but we can't get the stuff. So I can't get all the stuff, like all the products would take months and months and months to get. And so what I'm gonna do, and for those of you that are early adopters that wanna go experience it, so Mike and I are going up, so we close on June 15th, 14th. We gotta go get furniture, so it's gotta have beds and couches and stuff like that, so I'm gonna have to make that initial furniture investment, which can be costly, and we have to go up and like do, you know, silverware and towels, and because I hate that when you go to a place and there's no frickin' pots and pans, and there's no, like, it's just not good. I want to be able to, for me, forget you, the people borrowing it, I want it to be functional, like a real house. Not a mountain house, not a vacation house. I want it to feel like you're in this amazing place, in a house that is really unique, that you otherwise may not have been able to experience, but still have the comfort of home. But that doesn't mean I have to have the office theater built like next week. This was the big epiphany. I'm like, well, shoot. Let's get the garage done. The house is beautiful as it is. It's not the perfect style that I'm heading towards, but people will freaking love it. Just do the garage. And then we could have people borrow it all summer, you know, the latter part of the summer and fall. That'll help with some cash flow. And every time somebody isn't there, Mike and I will go up, we'll tear apart a bathroom, rebuild that. But we don't have to like do the whole house all at once. You know, this may come as a shock to you, but I only know how to do it's all or nothing. So sometimes I need some people to rein me in a little bit. Until Michelle got my mind right. That's why I'm out here washing my M3 today. Once I figured that out, I'm like, oh yeah, and it'll be way more fun. And we'll do a much better job than to try to do it all at once. Now this is darn enjoyable. Washing my favorite car to wash with a properly corrected, protected surface. The only thing that's gonna make it better is having carbon ceramic brakes. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna leave all this crap out. I might have time to wash the E36. It'd be kind of dumb to wash the E36 because I'm gonna decon it here soon. It's still kind of undrivable because I never got it aligned with the TC Kleins. So, I waited this long, I might as well wait a little bit longer. And I know you want to see me wash it, but again, we're going to do a full detail series on it. Man, I love this GSF. Jeff's getting my OG M3 plate set up. So we'll swap that back to the blue Orlando Magic plate. All right, let's dry this thing off. I dried the GT4 earlier this morning with the 765. I'm going to dry this with the 615. You know, I still think the 580 is the best. The 580 and the 650 are the best, but I fear that these will be the replacement. So I don't know how long. I need to get some more detail on that. I don't know how long these are going to last. And I'm spraying Hyde's rust inhibitor on these very rust-prone rotors. But I think I'm going to run this straight home and get the M2. Because I would like to do the carbon ceramics this week. I got the F80 carbon ceramics to swap. They showed up this week. See, this just doesn't feel as powerful. Yeah, I think we're gonna have to do the M2 tonight. I'm not gonna get this done in time. You know, I feel like I've done a really good job with my cars all these years. I get real philosophical when I'm drying. I'm doing the leaf blower. But I feel like I've done a really good job with cars. But, you know, you don't know what you don't know. And I feel like every single one of them, like this is the first car I think I've ever owned where I like truly, honestly intend to keep. I say that now, but who knows? But you know what I'm saying? Like this is the first, like I feel like I'm at the place in my life where I'm gonna have the space to keep cars. I'm gonna have the assets, hopefully, if I don't screw this whole thing up with Destination OG, to be able to collect and keep the ones that I love. Even if I don't, like I mentioned earlier, even if I'm not like using this thing every second of every day, and like as you're coming up, you get things, you get cars, but they have to be used. They have to be used. They cannot sit. You know, and you even develop this opinion like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this guy got this thing and he's not using it all the time. Well, when you have a lot of assets, when you have a lot of cars, or you have a lot going on, you can start to become comfortable with something like this being used however you feel like using it, not being used out of obligation. And you just don't understand that. I certainly didn't until you get there. And I'm still not quite there yet, but you know, I feel like I'm headed there, wherever there is. So, like all the mistakes I've made over the years on cars, even though they're little mistakes in comparison to most regular, you know, normal people that aren't insane like I am, I feel like I can have this, like I've got this thing set up. I haven't messed anything up on it. I hope to not mess anything up on it. Just like little mess ups, like a little scratch here or a little nick there or a little mistake done in, you know, certain modifications and things. You know, I feel like I don't have to take the wheels off of this 500 times as I'm trying to figure out, you know, what setup I want and mess up the, you know, the lug nuts and things like that. So I feel like I'm finally at a place where this car can be owned, collected, and kept. And so I'm okay with the fact that I don't know how I'm going to use this thing. And I don't really care. You know, it doesn't matter. That's the thing. I do care, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter as much. What matters is that I have it, I love it, I enjoy it. I enjoy what I'm doing right now, talking to you and washing it. You know, this is my favorite place to be, is out here by myself in the driveway, you know, or the parking lot here in my case, with a camera, just dumping my ideas and thoughts out into the world. And even though I usually don't, you know, watch these videos back, I don't watch this, it's there's something different and satisfying about, and including, I feel like I'm including you in my life. Otherwise, I'm on my own. On my own on an island by myself. And so having this life that I now have, where I get to share this passion with you, and then getting to a place where the car doesn't mean as much to me as it used to, is a really great feeling to have. And then getting to buy this thing, overpay for it, you know, buy something that is double what it probably should be because I get to now experience it all over again. This is like a forbidden fruit that you can't get, that I couldn't get, that I didn't know how to do when I got it, right? So I got this car and I didn't fully comprehend. I didn't have all the tools in my tool belt that I now have to care for it. And I also knew that it wouldn't be a car that I would have forever. Yeah, I hope I'm making sense here. I'm kind of reasoning it out in my own head as I'm talking through this here on what this car is going to be and what it's going to feel like. So the car means a lot, but because, let's see, the car means a lot to me, but because it's not the one and only, and because it's not going to come and go, it's almost like my coach, talked to me about this early on. I really didn't understand it. When you're in a negotiation, you have to be willing to, in order to win, in order to get what you want, first of all, you have to demand it, or not demand it, but ask for it, request it. A request, or he says a request is gracious, and a yes answer to a request is acceptable and a no answer. But if you frame a request properly, then you'll get the result you're looking for. But in order to do that, you have to be willing to give things up and not be attached to an outcome. You have to craft an outcome that you're looking for. And so, because I've sort of set this car free in my mind, I'm able to win because I'm willing to lose. If that makes sense. Probably doesn't to most of you. It sounds stupid. I'm still formulating how this works. I've had this happen many times in many negotiations in the past several years where, I'm like, I just, whatever you want, whatever you need, I'm paying, I'm doing. Like if I was taking on a new product, trying to convince them, like I would just bend over, whatever you want, whatever you need, whatever you would like, I'll do. Even if it wasn't right for either side. And so this car is kind of an embodiment of that evolution with me personally, in that I now feel like I can truly enjoy this because I essentially have let it free. Combined with all the tools and toolkit that I now have that allow me to just be with it, enjoy it, and not be a slave to it. I have CarPro Deluxe on on this windshield. Seems to be not playing as well with this drying aid. I just wanted to try it out because Wolf's is so hard to get, but Wolf's is just so good. I don't think that Deluxe is going to be a proper alternative. I'm sorry, not Deluxe, Flyby, Forte Flyby. Deluxe is what's on the wheels. So this car can exist for me without any personal pressure, and I never had any pressure of, I don't give a crap, you're not taking this M car to the track and using it like you should. I don't freaking give a crap about it. I like picking fights with people about that, about not caring about it, but I truly, honestly, my daughter says this all the time, I don't care. Well, when you say it like that, you do care. And I truly, honestly do not care what anybody thinks about my use of my cars. I like having the car. I like having cars that are designed to be used more aggressively than I'm using them. That way it makes like a Raptor. A Raptor on the road is amazing. I don't care if it's designed to jump stuff. It's a great driving experience on the road because of that utility. But using this car as I intend, combined with the now body of knowledge I now have on how to care for it and how to modify it, the cars that got away, the one that we just did a giveaway on, although that car is magnificent, this is on a level that's higher than that because of what I learned by playing with that car. And that car was the culmination of what I had learned by playing with the first one that I had in 2010, 11, 12. So this experience of getting to do it all over again and finding the spec, this car is spec'd out, the single hump, the Interlagos is great. It's close enough to Le Mans. In some ways, it's better than Le Mans. Is super awesome, super satisfying, and just downright awesome. This front lip is great, even though you have to cut the front lip or cut the bumper, notch the bumper. It's freaking awesome. It was worth it. So the one thing I never chased were, I had Clausens on this. Those are really the only wheels I ever had. So I never chased the FIR TE path. So I'm doing that on this one. But I'll probably end up back where it all started, where it should be, which is with 359M competition package wheels. So the Mountain House, we take possession here in about a month. And then I've figured out, I'm going to sit down and figure out the exact process and speed at which we're going to move on it. But I have a good sense for what that's going to look like. And I'm hoping to be able to start letting people borrow it here in the late summer. And then I'll spend the unrented, unborrowed part of the winter doing other projects to it to just take it step by step to greatness. And then if we get to the point to where it's too subscribed to that I can't go there, then we'll repeat. We'll do the model again. And I'll do another one somewhere else. Either in the mountains. I guess if I can't go to the mountains, then I'll need to get another place to do in the mountains. We'll do as many as we need to. But one of the things that I want to make clear to the world, and I'm going to share this very specifically, I think you guys are going to love the videos. I'm going to do wash and talks up there and wash and drives and while in between the footage of me, building the bathroom or putting in Dynaudio speakers in the home theater or the garage, all that kind of stuff. So I'm going to be doing all of that, sharing all of that. And I think you're really going to like that stuff. I know I'm going to have a lot of fun. It'll be an older school flavor of, a lot of times it'll just be me setting up the camera, when the film crew is not there. But this is not, I said this before, this is not me buying a house because I'm super rich and let me show you all of my houses. This is like I said, this is a business formula. This is a, I think this is something the world would want. I think this is something that my world needs. And so, and I think many of you are a lot like me and are asking for the same kind of things I'm asking for in the world. And although this is not going to be, like, I don't go to the Ritz-Carlton and like trash it. I go to the Ritz-Carlton and I take care of it, and I enjoy that it's nicer, and I guess the service is there, but I don't even really use the service. I'm just there because it's nicer. It'd be even better if they had like awesome TVs there, which they don't. It'd be even better if they had great, audio in the room, lots of soundproofing, which they don't. They have lots of soundproofing, but they don't have any, they got the typical remote control where you can't frickin' change the channel. It's like, I don't understand, like, these remote controls just don't work. They're so concerned about people taking the batteries, that they glue it, or they put a screw on it and glue it shut. It's just such a weird thing. So I'm gonna just have some trust and some faith in you people. But where I was going with this is that this isn't the house that Obsessed Garage customers financed for Matt to then enjoy this rich lifestyle in the mountains. This is, I'm going to provide this solution to the world, and then I get to get rich, hopefully, because people value the solution. And then I get to experience the house too, but then I'm going to share it with you. Many of you, most of you, almost all of you are not going to be able to go to the house. It's too far, you don't have enough money, you don't have enough time, you can't get, it's booked up, so you can't get a spot. But we'll all be able to live through it by me videoing and sharing it on camera. So to me, that just seems like a winning formula. Gosh, this car. I told you how good the other one was. This is like, I don't know if there's a better M3 on the planet. Look at that. I mean, if there is, I'd like to see it. I want that one. I guess the one thing that'll make it better is to have a Dynan built 4.5 liter stroker. That would make it better. So the house, the plan is that we built it. This is going to be the house that OG built. Tommy and Nick and Andrew and Ted and Mike F and Mike T and Bryce and Kyle, the whole team, the whole warehouse crew. My mom and dad will be up there. Michelle, the whole OG crew, we'll have the whole design team, the whole media team, everybody will have their hand on this place somewhere. And so this is going to be the house that OG built. I don't know that we'll be able to do this forever. In the future we may, use more contractors and things like that. Maybe not. Maybe that's the formula. This is going to be the house that OG built. And then there'll be the house that you get to experience as well. And I just think it's going to be really cool, and I think that people are really going to like it. I think I'm going to really like it, and if I really like it, then you will probably like it too, because of how particular I am. I think you're going to like it. Now, I think you've really gotten to know me over the years, but there's a difference between particularness and understanding. There's some people that will nitpick and get real nitpicky about different things. But you have to have, I think you have to have it, there we go. I think you have to have an understanding as well in the world and how things work. You have to be empathetic and understanding of. This is where I say, we're not going to be running a concierge service here. You have to go into this where we're in this together. I'm not your slave. You're not, you don't owe me, squat. We're just kind of putting something together. and providing something that otherwise we wouldn't have. It's the same argument with the, the stubby. Like, look, maybe I didn't make it clear enough, but like this thing isn't going to be perfect from the get-go. You might have to work for it a little bit. It's not even my thing. Like, I didn't make it. It's not even my idea. I was perfectly content just using the darn long tube, or maybe cutting it in half or something. And then David came up with it. I'm like, yeah, I love that. That's awesome. I really want that. Can I help, get it in people's hands? And then people start freaking out. I mean, I guess it's a good thing that people, have expectations from me. But it's freaking $60. It's like, dear Lord, I mean, what do you want? And I understand it looked really fit. The fit and finish looked great. And, and it's got a little ways to go to be perfect. But, man, we've got a good start. And the house is going to be the same way. Like, if I get somebody that goes there and says, oh, my gosh, Matt, one of these toilets is not flushing right. This is unacceptable. I'm going to tell you to frickin' pack your stuff and get the F out of my house. Because that's nitpicky. That's not understanding. That's not being a discerning individual. A discerning person would take the frickin' top off the toilet and see, oh, maybe I can fix this. And then, hey, Matt, I want to let you know, the toilet was kind of running funny. I tweaked it. So I couldn't get it perfect, but you might want to have someone, check that out. That's understanding. That's empathetic. That's rational. That's what I'm hoping to create. And many people are telling me I'm naive. That there's no way that people are going to do that. People are going to ruin your stuff. They're going to jack up your car. They're going to use and abuse. They're going to steal everything. Well, I guess I have too much faith in the world, but I guess we're going to find out. So, on another positive note with this whole thing, I posted a thread in the Facebook group, the main Obsessed Garage group, and said, hey, I'm thinking about this. It would really be great to have a car in the mountains that you could borrow, so that way, if you're coming in you want to come out and go on vacation, see what the Smoky Mountains are about that I'm talking about all the time, and you're from Oregon, or you're from California, or you're somewhere where getting your car there is just not going to happen, not practical, wouldn't be fun, it'd cost too much money, it would be just too much of a pain. And so it'd be awesome to have a cool car there. The thing is, I want to get, and one way to do that would just get an E92 or get cars that I really love, get a GT4. The problem is that I would really like to have that car be relatively maintenance free for me, and I'd like to get new ones. And then this scratches another itch that I have, that nothing better than ordering cars, getting a new car, and I can get a new car all the time. And so I talked to my buddy Tom at Porsche Wilmington in North Carolina, who I got my GT4 from, who I got my paint to sample touring from, and said, hey, I've got this idea, and I'd like to get a new car for each house every year. Is this something we could pull off? And what better car to do that with than an M3? I could do all kinds of videos around taking different delivery at different times. I just think it could be really, really cool. And he agreed. And so the great news is he already called me and said, I don't know when I can get you an allocation, but I'm going to try. But the great news is he got me an allocation already for a special edition, which I'm going to have to pay extra for, and the G80, I hate the front bumper, and so we'll do the Vorsteiner setup and try to make it better, make it look as good as we can. But so I'm getting an ultraviolet carbon ceramic sport bucket seat. It has to be X-Drive. It has to be the ZF Auto, which is probably the smart thing to get for this place anyway. And then people can, borrow that too. And then the requisite will be, you have to wash it before you leave using all the stuff. Hopefully you watch the video so you don't mess it up. but I should have a car there sometime around September, October, hopefully. So it'll be there for the end of the season, and it'll be all-wheel drive. It'll be the X-Drive version, so maybe I can put some freaking snow tires on that thing. I don't think it doesn't really snow that often in Helen, but I think that's going to be way cool to have that available. And I think I can pull it off. I got to figure out the insurance aspect of it, but I think I can pull that off. And yeah, somebody's going to go wheels off and jack up the wheels. And if somebody crashes it, we'll just get another one. But hopefully they won't crash it. I think people would be pretty responsible. I really don't want to do it through Turo. I'm going to get my own insurance policy. Turo takes like 40%. I just need the insurance aspect of it. I don't need the marketing engine of Turo. Shoot, I might be able to pull this off. I'm going to run home. I'm going to leave all this stuff out. I'm going to run home, get the M2, and let's get that thing washed. It's more fun to work on a car when it's washed. You know, when I'm doing the brakes. So yeah, imagine I'd envision it being something like $1,000 for a week, 7 days. We'll figure it out to where, hey, don't frickin' drive it 3,000 miles. So I'll probably put some basic mileage restriction on it. But yeah, you know, drive it 600-700 miles, I don't know, during the week, $1,000 for a $100,000 car. And then if we get to the point to where, hopefully we can get to the point to where we can have GT4s at these houses or GT3s at the houses. That would be freaking sick. You know, if I get these houses and they say you guys start barring them crazy, and if they're rented out like 60-70% of the time, then I have more money to work with, and it could be way cool. So I got big plans. We'll see if these plans are ridiculous or not. So I need like 20 of you to pre-book this thing. We'll figure out when I have the exact dates figured out, when I have a better understanding of when we do the design for it and what it's going to look like that way. We'll see see how that goes. And when I can start to set you up to be who's going to be the first person to do this, to rent this thing. Borrow for money. Remember, rent implies entitlement. You're not entitled to squat. This is my freaking house. Don't mess it up. So the other thing we're going to do is June 15th. So for those of you who spending $5,000 to rent a mansion for a week is just not going to be a thing you can do. What I'm going to do is I'm going to set it up to where we're going to do a win a week with Matt. I'm not going to call it a giveaway. It's not really a giveaway. It's a win a week. So win a week with Matt at the new house, or not. If you'd rather win a week by yourself, you can have me not be there. But then we go up there in September, October, something like that. Shoot, some of you may even want to win a week and come and help me build it. You know, so you win a week. So we'll kind of work together to see when you get to come or when you want to come. You might want to wait and save that week for the following year. You know, when it's actually much further along. But we'll give people the option. But win a week of Matt, it's going to be purchase anything Milwaukee. Every $5 you spend is going to get you an entry. I'm working with Milwaukee to see if I can get like a second place Milwaukee credit or something like that for the second place person, to see if we can pull that off. But win a week with Matt or not, and we'll be up there in the mountains, and we'll get you there and get your car there, and you can come hang out and we'll talk life and philosophy and business and wash some cars and play with some detailing stuff and watch some movies. It'd be kind of fun. So anyway, we're going to be doing that. So anyway, that's it for this car. I'm going to run this thing home, bring the M2 here, and I'm going to leave the camera out and try to wash this thing before the sun gets us. Thanks for watching. See you on the M2 wash and talk, I guess. See you soon.